Hello everyone, my name is Benedictus Simas Purwocahyono, and today I will present my finding of my thesis, The Influence of Financial Literacy, Risk Perception, and Financial Self-Efficacy on Buy Now Pay Later or BNPL usage behavior. I complete the thesis under the supervision of Ibu Choronisa Arifah. Over the next few minutes, I would like to take you on the journey of the study, from the beginning to the evidence I gathered to what those findings tell us about how young Indonesia borrow and spend. Okay, the background. Let me begin with the paradox. Over the past few years, Buy Now Pay Later or BNPL has moved from the margin of Indonesia finance into its mainstream. By the end of 2025, multi-finance BNPL financing had grown more than 75% in a single year, reaching almost 12 trillion rupiah, while the total outstanding pay later debts stood at nearly 37 trillion rupiah. Close to 9 in 10 of these users belong to the millennial and Gen Z generation. And yet, here's the puzzle. Usage keep accelerating even though the risks such as mounting debt, late penalties, and rising rate of non-performing financing are widely known. Alongside this is a revealing gap in our national statistic. The financial literacy index stands at just 66%, while financial inclusion has already reached 80%. In other words, Indonesians are adopting financial products faster than they are coming to understand them. This is what the literatures call the knowledge action gap, and it lies at the heart of my inquiry. The question I found compelling was not whether people adopt BNPL, but why some use the Buy Now Pay Later so much more intensively than the others. This distinction matters because most existing research stop at the moment of adoption, the binary choice to use or not to use, or looks only at its consequences, such as default. What remains under-examined is usage intensity, and in particularly how three different kind of driver might shape it together. A cognitive, a cognitive driver, what we know, an evaluative driver, how we perceive risk, and the third is a psychological driver, how confident we feel. These are rarely tested within a single model and rarely in Indonesia setting, despite this being the largest BNPL market in Southeast Asia. From this gap, follow my three research questions, each asking whether one of these factors exert a negative effect on BNPL usage behavior. To answer the question, I anchor the study in three established theory, each speaking to one of those drivers. The first is financial literacy. Financial literacy draws on the theory of financial literacy by Lusardi and Mitchell, the idea that genuine knowledge allowed a consumer to weigh interest, penalty, and the true burden of debt, and therefore to exercise the restraint. And the second is risk perception. Risk perception rests on perceived risk theory from Bauer, Erlater, Hagerman, and Pavlov. The greater the risk consumer perceive, the less inclined they are to proceed. And the last is financial self-efficacy. Financial self-efficacy is rooted by Bandura with his theory, social cognitive theory, operationalized through loan scale, which the belief in one's own capacity to manage money, foster discipline that reduce reliance on short-term credit. The theory of planned behavior draws these theory threads together. From each theory, I derive a hypothesis, and all the three point in the same direction, which is the negative effect on the NPL usage, measured by frequency, intensity, and transaction volume. And the next is the research method. The study is quantitative and explanatory, working within the post-positive paradigm and a cross-sectional design. I surveyed 200 active BNPL users across Indonesia, which adult who had used the service at least once in the preceding 1 year, recruit through purposive and snowball sampling using the online questionnaire or GFOAM. Financial literacy was measured by objectively as knowledge from 0 to 3. The remaining construct use 5-point Likert scale adapted from the validated instrument refined through a pilot 30 respondent. The data were analyzed in SPSS, and I established the validity, reliability, and confirmed the classical assumption. Also estimate multiple linear regression, reporting the t-test, the f-test, the adjusted R-square, and the standardized beta coefficient. The next is respondent profile. Before turning into the result, this is the brief for the respondents. The sample is predominantly by female and overwhelmingly young. Nearly 9 in 10 are between 18 and 34, the digital native generation, and just over half hold a bachelor degree, and around 3/4 earn below 5.9 million rupiah a month. Their usage varies meaningfully. 44% are occasional user, 35% is a moderate, and substantial 21% are a heavy user or more than 5 times in a year. That variation is important. It is precisely what allow me to study intensively rather than the adoption. I also note that the frequency figure are screening data. The dependent variable itself was measured by separately through its own Likert items. And the next is a result model fit. Now to the finding. The model rests on a firm foundation. It satisfies every classical assumption, normality, no multicollinearity, no heteroscedasticity, and meeting the condition for a reliable unbiased estimator. The three predictors are jointly significant with an F value of 48.5 and a P value of 0. Together, they explain roughly 42% of the variation of BNPL usage. A substantial figure for transactional behavior research and a deliberate one, since the model was built around a three-core construct. The regression equation captured the result at a glance. All three coefficients carry a negative sign, exactly as the theory predicted. And the next is hypothesis testing. When we examine the hypothesis in turn, all three hypotheses are supported. Financial literacy, risk perception, and financial self-efficacy each exert a negative and statistically significant effect on usage behavior, but more revealing story in their relative strength. Reading the standardized data, the financial literacy is by far the dominant force, more than 3 times stronger than self-efficacy and roughly 5 times stronger than risk perception. So while all three matters, they matters in clear order. Knowledge first, confidence second, and risk awareness is the last. And I also do the additional testing, robustness check, uh, to test the effect survive. I run two-step hierarchical regression, entering the age, education, and income as a control before the main predictors. On their own, demography explain only 3.5% of the variation, and this uh, this result is not significant. The triple predictor then left the explained variance over 44%. Financial literacy and self-efficacy remain firmly significant. So hypothesis 1 and 3 are robust, but this perception uh, fall just short significant in the full model. I I want to be candid and precise about this. It's not a demographic uh, artifact test on its own with the same control. Risk perception remains a strong predictor. It's a ten it's a rise because it share the explanatory ground with the literacy and self-efficacy. I therefore rate this not as a weakness in the finding, but as a qualification of it. This perception operates largely through and alongside the other two driver. And the last one is, and the next is discussion. What then do these findings mean? Three area, which is the knowledge, confidence, and awareness, stand out. The first is knowledge. Is the strongest break. It's not merely awareness of risk, but genuine financial understanding that most powerfully restrain the usage, turning a passive adopter into a calculating consumer. This shift literature that has tended to foreground trust and risk. And second, confidence complement knowledge. Self-efficacy adds a psychological layer, knowing what to do matter little without the belief that one can act on it. And the two work best in tandem. And the last is risk awareness through necessary is comparatively weak because a young user often read BNPL as low risk, framed by 0% promotion, and because institutional trust quietly soften the sense of danger. And conclusion and implication. In conclusion, this research confirm all three factors shape BNPL usage in a negative and significant way, with financial literacy foremost among them, together accounting for some 42% of the variation. The implication follow naturally. For regulations such as OJK and Bank Indonesia, the message is to invest in target literacy and to require clear in-app risk warning provider or the BNPL to build usage alert and cost simulation for the customer. And for the educator, the academic to pair the financial knowledge with the confidence to use it. I hold the limitation openly, such as the design is cross-sectional, so cannot establish the causation, and the sample of 200 is non-probability, and the usage was measured in aggregate, not in separate platforms such as one BNPL platform. And the chart of the path forward a longitudinal design, larger and more representative sample, and the addition of variables such as FOMO or impulsive buying. So, if I may distill the whole into single sentence, which Indonesia BNPL market financial knowledge, not more risk awareness, is the strongest behavior behavioral break, and financial confidence complete the future. So thank you for your attention. I would be glad to respond to your feedback. Thank you.